This is the Simulation Football League presented by 8 p.m. Music live here on Twitch. The nightlife in Las Vegas is one of the best in the world, hence the moniker, the entertainment capital of the world. The hometown Fury and visiting Sioux Falls Sparrows are ready to provide us with some of that legendary entertainment. Good evening, folks. I'm Tyler Falk. We are live here in Silver State Stadium here for this Week 4 contest. Justin Reside and Jason McGee are in the stats truck, and joining me here in the broadcast booth is none other than Brett Solberg. Brett, it is great to have you here. Tell me, what stands out to you here in this contest?
Well, these two teams have proverbial heart attacks last week, with Sioux Falls losing a nail-biter against Denver in overtime, and then Las Vegas just eking out a victory over Arizona. These two teams tried slightly different game plays in terms of their offensive style I saw last week. I'm just wondering if they're going to switch things up again here this week. We saw a lot of different things from both the running backs, especially with G.P. Wells, and we're going to have to see what Joseph Green does after his quiet performance last week.
Las Vegas have one of the best rushing attacks in the league, led by Scojo Scott Johnson. He currently leads the SFL in rushing, he's second in rushing touchdowns. The team all time for Las Vegas at the moment is first in the league. Scott Johnson also is, he is first in rushing touchdowns, my apologies. First in carries with 90, looking to eclipse 100 carries all told here in only Week 4 of the regular season. Sioux Falls will get us started with the kickoff. They're on their all yellows. Las Vegas and they're all blacks. We are set for kickoff here from Las Vegas, Nevada. Rookie kicker from Memphis, Zashta Black, and here we go. We're underway here in Sin City as the return gets underway from about the 3-yard line. Kicking out to the far side is Doug Britton. He's going to get all the way to the 24-yard line before second season quarterback Joseph Green will take the field.
15-23 for 214 last week. A little bit unorthodox to not see him get those big numbers out of there, but they have really relied on Scott Johnson and his 29 carries alone last week. We'll have to see if it's the same thing for that offense again here in this game.
To become the workhorse for this Fury offense, we'll see if they give him the ball to start off the football game. Through the middle, it'll be a pick of about 2 yards, and indeed it is Scott Johnson with the first touch of the ball game. Let's get you introduced to the rest of the Las Vegas Fury offense. Joseph Green is the quarterback with Scott Johnson and A-Star Miramontes the backs. John Blades, Mason Kirby, and Doug Britton the wide receivers with Scott Bowell and Jackson Roberts the tight ends. Opposite eye behind Green, 2 wide receivers off to his left. Play action. Green looks near side, is caught. Pickup of about maybe 6 yards for John Blades before he steps out of bounds, and it brings up 3rd and short.
A decent little out route for that second down play there, seeing that Johnson got stuffed on that first down play, only got a couple yards. They decided to go with a play action here, knowing that Sioux Falls is probably anticipating a lot of Scott Johnson carries in this game, and they find John Blades on that easy catch.
Single back set. Green to throw here on 3rd down. Looks far side. Caught at the 37-yard line. That'll move the sticks. Mason Kirby picks up that reception to 1st down.
Last play to their wide receiver 1, and the next play to their wide receiver 1A. John Blades and Mason Kirby both having a pretty good season so far, both over the 200 mark in terms of yards, getting fair amount of receptions so far this season as well. And right now, back-to-back catches from their 1 and 1A.
Johnson on the give, near side, fighting forward to try and find extra yards. Only going to pick up 1 before he's taken down by James Kelly, one of the defensive linemen. He's accompanied by Biff Markham, Corey Dobbins, and Ray West on that line. Derek Williams, Jason Strongbow, and Nick Fargo are the linebackers. Ernest McRae Sr., John Barnhart, Nathan Barnett, and Terrell Davis are the corners, and Jay Ringgold and A.J. Levy are the safeties for Sioux Falls. Goal line set. It'll be a handoff for Scojo through the middle. He's going to pick up a couple down to their own 41, and it's another 3rd down upcoming for this offense.
And if Sioux Falls wants to stop this Las Vegas offense from going, and it's looking like they're going to have to stop Scott Johnson, which is already his 4th carry in this game and in this drive here. He's going to get some fair shares here, and so far they've only limited him to a couple of yards on each play.
Joseph Green is going to be all over the gun. He'll have trips to his left, and he's back to pass. He's going to fire it over the middle into double coverage, but it's hauled in for a first down to the Sioux Falls 38-yard line, and it's check that. It will not be Kirby. It's going to be Scott Fowle. First time we'll see the tight end in play tonight.
First time we'll mention hashtag throw it to the tight end. Scott Fowle had a nice little streak route with a little bit of a turn. He didn't really change his motion too much. It didn't look like a post route. It almost looked like a drag go, I would say. And yeah, threw it in double coverage. So great throw from Joseph Green as well.
Drive keeps chugging along here for the Fury. Green in the gun again. Play action. Back to pass. Deep bomb over the middle. Into coverage. It's tipped and it's incomplete. A.J. Levy nearly had that pick.
You know, that Las Vegas offense, they kind of love that 40, 45 midfield area because that's where the deep bombs happen. And that's what you saw in this first down play. They go play action and they went deep. And you're going to see that a few times, especially with the speed of Mason Kirby. And don't be surprised if Doug Britton gets a deep catch as well throughout this game.
After going to the shotgun set on first down, Joseph Green will line up under center with Miramontes and Johnson behind him. He's going to go back to pass, deep, 7-step drop, steps up and fires, and it's incomplete. Just a few inches further than his intended target, and it's third down.
Yeah, they went with Blades again there. This time he went with a post down the middle of the field. And again, it's that deep bang play that they wanna have right away. That's the Las Vegas offense for you. Once they get into their favorable field position, they're gonna go for pay dirt. And we see here 3 receivers up top. Watch for the bunch.
9th play of the drive. Green to throw. Floats it near side, triple coverage, and it's going to eventually fall to the turf. 3 straight passes all end up in incompletions, and out comes the punting unit for the Fury.
And it was a nice coverage done by the linebacker, Nick Fargo, there to cover that 3rd receiver on the bunch formation. One went with a streak, that farthest on the side, and the one in the nearest went with that post route, a little bit more of a slant than a post. And Fargo did a great job reading the play and getting in front of the football.
Dustin Mcrack comes on the field. He had a couple of stellar punts a season ago and looks to keep up the momentum with another punt here. This one angled toward the near side. It's going to take a bounce of the 10, and it's going to stay in bounds at the 3-yard line, and Mcrack has another coffin corner punt.
Yeah, and like you said, we saw it a few times last season, and this is... for any punter in the league coming up in next season, the seasons afterwards, watch some game film of Dustin Mcrack. I find him to be one of the better punters in this league, aside from my own Vancouver bias with our punters here. But nonetheless, what a start for Las Vegas.
So the opening possession here for the Sparrows, they're going to start deep in their own territory. Tyree to throw over the middle. It is caught. And he's gone! One play, 97 yards for K. Marion. She is going to tiptoe into the end zone. Touchdown, Sioux Falls.
And let's add a little bit of swagger to that step to the end zone. K. Marion, one play, 97 yards. You couldn't have written it up better for Sioux Falls. A lot of teams have problems when it comes to inside the 5-yard line, and they go with the safe route by going with the run. Sioux Falls has got some major cojones to go with the pass on that first down play, and it paid off big time. K. Marion, touchdown, 6 for Sioux Falls.
One play, 97 yards, all to K. Marion. What else could you want from a drive summary if you're Sioux Falls, huh? On comes Zastel Black on to attempt the extra point. Snap spot, kick is up, and Black's extra point is good, and Sioux Falls jump out to an early 7-0 lead. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. And Black puts his boot through the ball as we're underway again. The return gets started around the 2-yard line, making a couple spin moves is pretty senior, Doug Britton, and he can't find anywhere further than 25-yard line. So the opening possession for Las Vegas looked quite promising. But then they had to punt it away and give the ball to, eventually, K. Marion for the huge touchdown.
Yeah, and talk about flipping that momentum right away. Las Vegas is going to have to find a response real quick here. Maybe get Scott Johnson going, but they're going shotgun, so they might be looking to go Pater as well.
Bump coverage from Sioux Falls, looking to force an early mistake out of Green. He's going to throw near side, deep bomb, and the Fury are off to a flying start here on this drive as they connect.
John Blades with another nice catch to his career resume, as he's got amazing leaping ability just to grab any footballs that are just a yard or two overthrown from his quarterbacks, and he manages to grab the football in a very nice catch, and already Las Vegas is at midfield.
20-yard passing play to John Blades, and now from the 50-yard line. Green in the gun. He's back to pass again. It's a dump off to Scott Johnson out of the backfield, and Scott Johnson is going to be ruled back a yard as the Sparrows flew into the backfield and took him down for the loss.
And the biggest key on that screen pass there is to have the proper coverage from the lineman that's kind of shifting over, trying to be that additional blockman. But that left tackle, as you see there, Titus Anderson, didn't get there fast enough. So there was a bevy of Sioux Falls defenders waiting for Scott Johnson.
The gun again, Green to throw. Passes over the middle, and that is caught inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. A pickup of 22 for Doug Britton.
Yeah, and there's that big catch that we've been seeing so far this season from Doug Britton. He hasn't a lot of receptions, but those receptions have been big ones out of him so far this season with his amazing average. Usually throughout his career, not through this season. He's been a little bit more quiet, but nonetheless, another big 20-plus yard play from Las Vegas.
Seeing a lot of bump coverage out of Sioux Falls tonight as it's an ace or a single back set, 2 tight ends near sides, while the interior defensive linemen jump offside. Johnson gets the screen pass toward the near side. He's going to get past the first down marker, pickup of about 11 yards before he's eventually taken down by Strongbow. Penalty will more than likely be declined after the pickup for first down.
Yeah, you take that first down no matter what on that one. Very nice play from Scott Johnson to basically create something out of possibly a very dire situation with all the defenders around that sideline, using his agility and his spin moves to get that first down.
Las Vegas off to another fantastic drive here early on in this first quarter. Green's going to go back under center this time around. Offset eye behind him. Linebacker shift to the outside. The handoff. Scott Johnson. He has to immediately try and fend off a would-be tackler, Biff Markham, and Markham is able to help bring down the dangerous back.
Yeah, that was immediate. Once that play happened, it was just an immediate breakdown from the offensive line, which had like three defenders got past the offensive lineman real quick, and that was just doomed from the start on that first down play.
4-3 look, free safety. Jay Ringel creeps up to the line. Scott Johnson near side, blockers in front of him, and Scott Johnson is into the end zone, and the Las Vegas Fury answer right back. Touchdown, Las Vegas.
Yeah, and they did it the Las Vegas way, the big 20-yard passes, and then give the rock to Scott Johnson once you get in fair enough territory, and he's going to do the rest. Just great blocking from the offensive line there. James Kelly almost had a touch on Scott Johnson on the line, but just enough space between him and Kelly gave Johnson plenty of time to walk across the end zone, and we're an extra point away from this being tied up.
17-yard dash for Scott Johnson. As on comes Matt Rage to try and knock home this extra point. Snap spot, kick is up, and it is good, and we're all right back to where we started, tied up once again, this time it's 7-7.
It's going to set up for something interesting here. Now Sioux Falls is going to get their first kickoff return in this game. It's going to be interesting how Sioux Falls approaches this after their one-play 97-yard drive prior in this quarter.
My apologies. Last run was only a 12-yarder for Scott Johnson. Nonetheless, it ties up this football game once again. Return is on its way from A.J. Levy, and Levy is going to try and make something happen. He's going to take it down to the 27-yard line, and we didn't really get a chance to introduce anybody to the Sioux Falls lineup because it only took one play the last time they were out here.
I mean, we didn't need to. It was one play.
Kay Marion, the star of the show, and she's going to get featured here on screen for just a moment. 3 wide receivers set for the 13-season veteran Julian Tyree, who's under center. Back to pass, looks near side, and getting out of bounds after a pickup of 5 yards is Al Dillapre Sr. And now we get to introduce everybody to the rest of that Sparrow offensive lineup. Julian Tyree, the quarterback. G.P. Wells, the rookie out of Memphis, is the halfback, with Charlemagne Cornelius, the fullback. A.J. Warren, Noe Terrazas, Al Dillapre Sr., and of course Kay Marion are the wide receivers, with Caesar Ackerman at tight end, and leading the men in the trenches on the offensive line is the guard, Moose Mitchell. Linebacker shift over for Las Vegas. Handoff, G.P. Wells to the middle, and G.P. Wells spins out a couple tackles and picks up the first down to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and G.P. Wells getting himself introduced in this game here, getting that first down carry, just basically up the gut there, and he relied on his strength and agility to get off Yakov Zolotov there, and you see a couple other defenders trying to get around him as well. Nicky Colantrelli was there as well, just getting himself to that first down, just willing it so that Sioux Falls can carry on.
Only the 4th offensive play for Sioux Falls, and they're going to spread the field with 5 wide. Tyree to throw, passes over the middle, caught inside Las Vegas territory to the 44-yard line. Go the Sparrows. Al Dillapre Sr. in on another reception. Taking him down was Nicky Colantrelli.
Yeah, and Dillapre did a great job on that bump to bump himself away from his defender there and get just enough space so that Tyree can throw a nice pass to him to get another easy first down for Sioux Falls.
Brand new set of downs here for the Sparrows. 3 wide receivers, split back set behind Tyree. 2 wide receivers off to his left. Bump coverage from Las Vegas. Tyree, short throw over the middle. And a dangerous pass is bobbled and nearly picked off by Merrick Itera. And that'll give us a chance to introduce you to the rest of the Fury defense. Sam Yeager, A.K. Jones, Anthony Stober are the defensive linemen. Dabson Bugnut, John Osiris, Day Drury, Yakov Zolotov are the linebackers. Laquan Smith, Chris Maggle, Merrick Itera, the corners. Justin Raside, Nicky Colantrelli, and Max Jackson, the safeties. So it's 2nd and 10 now for the Sparrows as Tyree goes back under center. 2 wide receivers off to his left. Tyree to throw. He's going to float it out near side and taken
nice
down to
coverage.
the backfield for a loss of 1 is G.P. Wells, as it was another great tackle by Nicky Colantrelli.
And you can safely say we fight on Sunday nights, Maggle, as Chris Maggle had a perfect coverage on G.P. Wells, knowing that the swing pass was probably going to happen on that formation, and covered him right on the spot for that 1-yard loss.
3rd and long now for the Sparrows. Tyree, quick drop, pressure coming, he's going to float it, double coverage, and it's nearly picked off again, and the Sparrows this time will have to punt this one away.
Yeah, and Max Jackson was probably fingertips away from making that a pick 6, as he had all the momentum to keep running down the field and get another set of points for Las Vegas, but this time it's just a drop and forces Sioux Falls to punt the football away.
On comes Sammy Prefontaine. Is the punting duties over for the Sparrows, and this one's going to angle toward the near side. Going to take a Sioux Falls couple of bounces, and now Sioux Falls return the favor. Las Vegas now, they have to start on their own 3. Will we see a huge passing touchdown from Joseph Green and company.
Yeah, and if it's anything like Sioux Falls, that 97-yard touchdown will probably be to John Blades with his speed. So hopefully I'm not jinxing that on either side from making that kind of prediction. But here we are, 3-yard line once again. We're just flipping sides.
Well, if there's anything to go by with how Las Vegas has played, it might be a run for Scott Johnson. And Scott Johnson, he's going to go for a little bit, pick up the first down on play number 1. Oh, he almost had that one to the house.
Just imagine if that was a 97-yard run. That would have been the ultimate response to that first game.
You can't write this stuff.
You can't. Not even my creative mind could write something up, me with my grand total of 0 books publicated. But nonetheless, a nice first down for Las Vegas to set things up again, and they're kind of out of danger territory now that they're at the 15.
Well, beyond the shadow of their own goalpost at the 15-yard line, bunch set toward the near side for Joseph Green. They'll hand it off with Scott Johnson, and Scott Johnson pulses off a couple of tackles, picks up 6 yards.
Yeah, and he's going to get himself quite a few carries once when they're in their own territory, because they love to give Scott Johnson the ball, because the 29 carries that he had last week is so far on par, and I believe if he's not at 100 carries so far this season, he's pretty darn close to it now.
It's 3 away from 100 carries on the season. Pass over the middle from Green. That one is sucked in by Mason Kirby, first down.
A big man catch there from Mason Kirby, as well as he got a nice hit afterwards on that catch, and just being able to hold the football as he was going down. Just a great show of strength after the catch.
Here we go into the shotgun formation with 3 wide receivers. Coverage backs up all the way to the first down marker. Green, dump off underneath, and it was a huge gap between the receiver and the nearest defender. However, they closed down quickly on the tight end, Scott Fowle.
Yeah, and I was going to call on that right away, but Scott Fowle just turned around. He kind of set himself up a little bit too slow on that run, which gave Sioux Falls the opportunity to catch up to Fowle right away and make that a manageable gain instead of a big gain.
Coverage again backs up, another 10-yard cushion between the wide receivers and corners. Green goes to the play action, pressure coming, He floats it. He may have been hit as he was releasing it, and it falls to the turf incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like the ball might have been just ever so slightly deflected as well, I would reckon, because that football looked like just a sitting duck for anyone to catch it. But here we are, another an incompletion on this one, and now it's a 3rd down as we have just 2 receivers. They might give the ball to Johnson here. There's a free play.
A free play and a free first down to Scott Johnson.
Who
goes
needs
off
it?
to the far side, inside Sioux Falls real estate, down to about the 46-yard line. Penalty will be declined. First down, Fury.
Yeah, it's a huge gain from Scott Johnson there on that off-tackle rush to the right side. And I thought he was gone from that point, but a great job from the secondary unit, especially the safeties, coming in to get to Johnson right away as quickly as possible before any major damage could happen.
So on the other side of midfield come the Fury offense. Maybe sensing the initiative and trying to take it and possibly lead this football game with just over 30 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Scott Johnson on the give again. Number 9 of the ball game for carries, and he's averaging just over 7 yards a play.
Yeah, and they're probably going to rely on him a little bit more as the clock winds down ever so slightly to the end of the first quarter. We might see one more play. Kickoff here as we have 2 receivers spread out on 1 back, so we'll see what this play transpires.
Linebacker showing blitz. They back off. Green trying to dump it off. It hits the backside of John Spartan, the center, and that's going to be a legal man downfield and a penalty on Las Vegas.
Ineligible receiver, number 77, off-yard penalty. Repeat,
Yeah, I was going to push them back a little bit here, but like I said, that 40 to midfield area, I feel is Las Vegas's favorite field to play to work with, because they can go with pretty much anything with the speed of their receivers and the versatility of Scott Johnson. So with 3 seconds left, we might get a pretty spectacular play to end the quarter.
So it pushes him back to the 49-yard line, a penalty of 5 yards. 5 wide receivers here for Joseph Green. He's back to pass, launches it near side, and directly into the awaiting arms of John Barnhart, and Sioux Falls take over.
Yeah, and I think that was a big read from John Barnhart as well, because we saw the streak on the right side, and then we saw John Blades kind of go with that little post route, and an easy interception for him as we end the first.
A lot of fireworks here in this first quarter. We've got plenty of more action coming your way. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the SFL on Twitch. Welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Tyler Falk. He's Brett Solberg. Thanks for joining us this Sunday evening for more SFL action here in Week 4. Julian Tyree will be back in the gun with Wells off to his right. He's going to throw near side, and it's going to be a nice pitch and catch for A.J. Warren, and that'll be Warren's first catch of the ball game, and it gets him a first down.
Yeah, a nice little catch and run for A.J. Warren to get himself started in this day after a pretty much quiet first quarter, after Dillapre and Marion got a little bit of action going their way. So a good start to the Sioux Falls drive as well, with a one-play first down catch right there.
Now they're going to bunch in everybody, or almost everybody in tight. 2 backs in the backfield with 2 tight ends and only 1 wide receiver on the field. Be a run for G.P. Wells through the middle. He just shot through that gap and picked up 6 yards.
It was a screaming bullet that was called G.P. Wells, going straight through the gut. Great job by the offensive line just to give G.P. Wells that G.P. Wells size space to squeeze through and just speed all the way down for a nice 6 yards.
9 men in the box here for Las Vegas as they give up the middle for Cornelius, the fullback, and Cornelius can't find any traction as he's brought down by Merrick Itera and Max Jackson.
And no quick champagne for Charlemagne right there as he gets stopped right at the spot. Las Vegas was anticipating another run, maybe not exactly to A-Star, or not to A-Star, to Charlemagne, but nonetheless, they get the no gain on that.
Fourth play of the drive. Tyree floats it near side. G.P. Wells can't go anywhere but behind the line of scrimmage as he's blasted and taken out of bounds. Loss of 1, and out comes the special teams unit.
And again, it's another great read from the Las Vegas defense, seeing the swing pass transpire, and as that ball slung across the field, they were ready to basically tackle right after the catch, which led to another no-gain play.
Punt is on its way from Prefontaine. Looking to take a return this time is Doug Britton. He gets it all the way up to the 17-yard line. Do you have a hot take? Want to show your appreciation for the SFL or show some love to your teammates? The league's new show, SFL Crunch Time, wants to hear from you. Post a video on Twitter with your take or shout out and use the hashtag SFL Crunch Time, and you may just appear on the show this week. Want more details? Direct message Josh Zirkle on Discord, and we will see you in Crunch Time. High formation, Green to throw on first down. He's going to find Scott Johnson on the backfield, who turns the corner and picks up about 9 yards before he is almost taken out from behind by Jay Ringgold.
Yeah, and it seemed like Las Vegas there was playing a little bit of a game to the Sioux Falls offensive coordinator, basically saying, you know what, if you're trying to swing pass, we'll show you how it's done. First play, swing pass to Scott Johnson, he gets 9.
Goal line set, and they're just going to power through it with Scott Johnson, and Johnson picked up the first down to the 32.
And why not? He's cooking right now. He's getting those just those manageable gains that are helping Las Vegas just kind of saunter down the field to their own pace. And yeah, second down and you only need 1 yard. Scott Johnson's going to give you 6 times as many yards as you need.
Now, a sight we usually see from Sioux Falls, a 2-back set. Green to throw, pressure coming, does get rid of it, and it's going to fire, and incomplete. He was looking for Mason Kirby, as it looks like Terrell Davis got his paw on it.
Yeah, and it ended up being almost like a quadruple coverage as that ball was slinging. I don't think Joseph Green had a lot of spice thrown on that football there as he intended to. So the defenders kind of came up and kind of went to the area of the football and ended up being 4 defenders around the receiver.
Green to throw again. Floats it far side. That one is caught. Pick up about 7 yards on that play as they'll find the second tight end, Jackson Roberts, out of Annapolis in his rookie season.
Yeah, and Jackson Roberts didn't see much action last week. Didn't get a reception out of that. But this time he gets a nice one, and he kind of gets a little bit of extra yardage as well after the catch, a couple extra, and makes it a third manageable for this Las Vegas offense.
Well, he didn't get any stats in week 3 or any before. That's actually his first SFL reception, so congratulations.
Oh, look at that.
Robert. Green to throw again, third time the charm. No, it is third time the charm for the defense, and they come home and take down Joseph Green for a sack. It's the defensive end, James Kelly.
Yeah, you saw James Kelly, and I saw Ray West in there as well, approaching. You see also on the other side, Corey Dobbins. So there was 3 defenders basically breathing down the neck of Joseph Green right away. So that pocket became non-existent to him as the ball doesn't get off, and it's a sack.
On comes Dustin Mcrack on to punt this one away. He had a spectacular punt his first time around. Let's see what he's got up his boot this time. Long punt for A.J. Levy to try and make a return, and he will only get up to the 29-yard line. Excellent punt. And now here come the Sparrows. After a couple of fireworks to begin the ball game, Brett, it's kind of stagnated just a little bit.
I think the defenses have kind of settled down a little bit and are starting to read what each offense is kind of looking to play against each other. Sioux Falls with the 1 interception already to Joseph Green, and Las Vegas, that front line has been doing really well since that first drive.
Tyree to throw on first down. Looking for Wells, and that was an athletic play by the corner on the near side for Las Vegas, Merrick Itera.
Yeah, Itera did a great job again. It's all dependent on which side GP Wells is going to go on that swing pass. And this time he went to the left side, and Itera was immediately ready for the play. He might have been a step behind, but he went and leaped, got a hand on it, and led to a 2nd and 10.
10 men in the box here for Las Vegas as Sioux Falls looks to throw. And that one's also knocked away by, this time, Chris Maggle. 2 swing pass attempts for Sioux Falls. 2 deflections by these Las Vegas cornerbacks.
And Sioux Falls is playing a lot to what they did last week, and they were giving GP Wells plenty of opportunities. Only 18 carries last week, but he had 16 receptions, which was 9 more than the last 2 weeks combined, and they look to be playing the same playbook again here, trying to get GP involved, but Las Vegas' secondary is ready for it.
More than likely not a swing pass here on third down. Tyree to throw over the middle. It is incomplete. Looked like it was just out of the reach of Caesar Ackerman, and it's fourth down. A quick 3-and-out forced by this Vegas defense.
This Sioux Falls offense might be thinking maybe a little bit of pass interference as Caesar Ackerman was kind of bumped between 2 defenders. But nonetheless, I think that's a ball you got to catch there, and he just didn't manage to catch it in Sioux Falls. That's a quick 3-and-out for them.
Fontaine on for his 3rd punt of the ball game. Britton back to return. He tried to shake off one and can't. He's plastered to the turf at the 34-yard line, and on come the Fury offense again after a punt their last time out. Need to make a couple of changes, you'd think, to try and get going. The last 5 drives for both teams have been a punt, interception, and then 3 punts back to back to back.
Yeah, but the difference between those drives so far is that Sioux Falls, I think this was their first 3-and-out without getting a first down. So I'd have to think the momentum has shifted a little bit to Las Vegas' side. So hopefully this drive will be positive for them.
Scott Johnson gets the call, near side, spinning upfield, and he's close to the marker. maybe a few inches short, as it's a good call on the ground for the halfback.
And give Scott Johnson another 9.999999999 yards on that. He had a little bit of space on the outside, but he thought maybe he could get a little bit extra spinning to the inside, but he only gets just enough to get second in inches.
Almost thought you were a broken calculator over there, Brett. Needed to whack you on the side of the head or something like that to wake you up. As through the middle goes Scott Johnson. He'll pick up the .00001 yard he needed for the first down, and maybe a couple more.
Look, my teammates told me throughout my career that I do seem robotic out in the field, so I kind of got to play it on in the booth as well. But like you said, Scott Johnson just gets what you need to get that first down once again.
They come out at goal line set once more as the linebackers shift in the direction of the double tight ends on the left side. Scott Johnson through the middle picks up another first down, make it 11 total first downs for this ball club. They are winning in terms of first down. Gained 11-4 in that category.
Look, it just makes it easy for Scott Johnson when you have that kind of blocking from that offensive line. Did you see the space that Johnson was given to just run up the gut? That's something we haven't seen all that much in this league, let alone just in this team. So he's gonna get those yards.
Yard or two away from 100, but he's going to lose a couple as Sioux Falls are starting to read it rather well. Derek Williams, the outside linebacker, comes home and takes him down for a loss of 2.
And it looked like, excuse me, so it looked like Johnson was looking to carry himself, drag a little bit to the side on the left side there, but this time they read it. But it looks like Las Vegas is working really well on those gut drives for their run plays, and I think they need to keep going with that.
Stretch play, left side. Scott Johnson picks up the 2 he lost and a couple more, and he's over 100 yards on the ground today.
Yeah, and Scott Johnson's cooking. Doesn't matter if he gets set back on one play. He's going to get those yards back, and he gets a nice set here to make it another third manageable for Las Vegas, who have done pretty okay, I would say, on their third down situations.
On coverage here on third down, Joseph Green loads and fires over the middle. It is incomplete. AJ Levy in the air got his hand to it, and that promising drive goes out the window. However, we might see a long field goal from Matt Rage.
Yeah, very much possibly. That the pass from Joseph Green, in my opinion, maybe a little bit risky as it became double coverage, and especially with AJ Levy around, who is notorious for top 10 pick sixes. Coming out of your way through the TV screen, but nonetheless, here's the punting unit as another chance for the punting unit.
And Mcrack on to punt it away, angles toward the left side, and that one is just going to fly out of bounds at the 12-yard line. No chance to return that one, and Sioux Falls are backed up in their own territory once again.
Yeah, they really looked to coffin corner it this time, aiming out of bounds, but a little bit too much hang time for Mcrack this time. As Sioux Falls has a little breathing room this time and only needs 81 or 88 yards to get to the end zone instead of 97 the last time Mcrack punted.
Okay, Marion appears to be off the field, so no deep pass to her as they're going to go with GP Wells, who stutter steps at the 15-yard line and eventually is taken down at the 17, pick up about 6.
Yeah, and GP Wells, between his receptions and carries in this game, he's seen a lot of action himself, even though he's had a couple targets already batted away on the swing passes. So yeah, healthy dose of GP Wells so far in this first half.
Split backfield, wide receiver tucked in tight to the left side of the formation. Handoff through the middle goes GP Wells, first down to the 29-yard line. GP Wells is a little speedster, and just because of his size, he's able to sneak through these gaps, Brett.
Yeah, like being 5'10", like that, like immediately when I think of anybody under 6 feet, I think immediately to Robert Redford, my own teammates. And GP Wells has all the intangibles and all the ability of a Robert Redford-like player as well, so he can get through easily.
We'll go to the fullback, Cornelius, and for his 2 runs of the day, 0 yards, and he's blown up before he can get past the line of scrimmage. A.K. Jones there to greet him.
Yeah, it seems like the fullback dives are just not working so far. 0 for 2, I would call that. That's 0% for anyone with their calculators out for Charlemagne Cornelius.
Well, I thought that's what we had you there for, but it's a special shout out to our guys over in the stats truck, Justin Reside and Jason McGee. Pass near side from Tyree as they turn upfield looking for the first down as AJ Warren. He'll be marked just a yard shy at the 38.
It's a very nice catch from AJ Warren, and to continue going there. One of the big things that I've seen from AJ Warren this season is just the ability to hold on to the football. Just from his 8 receptions so far this season, the ability to hold the football and try to inch forward for more yards.
3rd and a yard for the Sparrows. They elect to pass. GP Wells has plenty of green grass in front of him. He's going to run out of a tackle and get close to midfield. And it looked like the Fury were playing, just a little bit contained, not expecting anything beyond 10 yards when they only needed a yard. And that's just a mismatch in terms of coverages, and Sioux Falls take advantage.
Yeah, I think they might have been expecting maybe a little bit of a trick from the Sioux Falls offense, maybe looking to go a little bit deep. But this time, it's just an easy swing pass to GP Wells, and he had basically the Nile amount of space to just get that first down. Just very easy for him.
Phoenix overlooks all who play here in Silver State Stadium as Sparrows look to pass, and down goes Tyree. Nothing doing. A.K. Jones blew up the fullback dive play, and he picks up a sack here this time around.
An easy opportunity to get a sack there as the offensive lineman just didn't get proper hand coverage on A.K. Jones, and once he was separated free, he was basically right in front of Tyree, which gave him no time to get that football off as we hit the 2-minute warning.
Brings us to the 2-minute warning. You're watching the Sioux Falls Sparrows and Las Vegas Fury here on Twitch. Presented by APM Music. This is the SFL. Tyler Falk, Brett Solberg here in the booth. Welcome you back here to the final 2 minutes of action here in this first half of play. Tyree is going to look to throw. He's going to fire it near side, caught by Warren and turning upfield, picking up a couple of yards to the 48-yard line of Las Vegas.
Yeah, and it's just a safe play just to inch a little bit forward as they kind of got nothing on that first down play, and the second down, just get something going, get a little bit forward so they can make it a little bit more manageable. But 3rd and 8 is going to be a tough task for Sioux Falls as Las Vegas has done pretty well defensively throughout this first half.
So bump coverage this time around due to the Fury defense. 5 wideouts here for Sioux Falls. Tyree loads and fires side.
He didn't get it.
And it's incomplete. They're going to rule that Noe Terrazas did not have a single foot in bounds. And that looked awfully close. And since it's under 2 minutes, R62 will take a look under the hood.
Yeah, it's a very close call. I took once we had kind of like that real action in time. It looked like his foot was out of bounds, but that one's a close one. Look at the spiral on that guy.
A wobbler.
That's close.
It's really close. We'll see what the zebra has to say. And they're going to give it to him. They're going to give it to Terrazas in bounds. It's caught. It'll also stop the clock and will give the Sparrows a first down.
Yeah, and it flips the field to their advantage as well as they get into very nice territory at the 31 as well. So this is now probably their only moment of threatening since their first drive.
Shotgun set with 2 wide receivers off to Tyree's right. Tyree steps up, tries to float it. It's knocked down and nearly picked off. It's Maggle again.
Yeah, and it just looked like a breakdown on the offense as the secondary unit for Las Vegas really stepped up on that play, and Terrazas was open behind the line of scrimmage, but you had 2 defenders, and Maggle once again gets his hands on the football for another incompletion.
They go into the goal line set. 4-3 look from Las Vegas. Tyree to throw. Floater far side. GP Well couldn't corral it, but luckily for Sioux Falls, it finds the turf instead of a Fury defender.
And you might be the 3rd overall pick in this draft, but sometimes you can get a little bit of rookie mistake in you, as well as he gets a little bit of Butterfingers in his hands, and it just doesn't happen for him there. And now it's a 3rd and very dangerous for Sioux Falls.
4 wideouts, 3 bunched near side. Tyree looks to throw. Passes near side. Warren, and Warren cannot turn upfield. We've seen a couple of plays look similar. However, Merrick Itea makes the tackle at the 26. However, Sioux Falls will bring on the field goal unit.
Yeah, and I think Merrick Itera and Chris Magel in this first half have probably been the stars of this Las Vegas defense, as they've made some key stops to stop Sioux Falls from getting any extra points here, as we see the field goal unit for the first time in this game to kick a 42-yarder.
Josh Till Black is 8 of 10 on his rookie campaign. He does have a long of 50, so this one should be fairly straightforward. A 43-yard attempt from the left hash. Snap spot. Kick is on its way, and it is good from 43 yards. And Sioux Falls take the lead. It's 10-7.
Yeah, and it's good to see some points out of this game after 2 explosive drives from both teams here. Defensive struggle throughout this second quarter, and Sioux Falls finally breaks free with a field goal here. But with $1:36 left to go, Las Vegas has time to respond.
1:36 left to go here in the first half of action from Sin City, aka Las Vegas, Nevada, as Black gets us going once again. Doug Britton stands about his 5 and makes a return. Has to try and shimmy shake out of his own teammate and eventually finds the 28-yard line. So, minute 31, all 3 timeouts for the Fury. It's something that this Fury offense is quite capable of making something out of, especially with a dangerous back in Scott Johnson, but it might come more so on the arm of second-season quarterback Joseph Green.
Yeah, and they have a playbook where they have a lot of deep plays, so we might see a lot of it just on this drive.
Green looks to throw here on first down. Out route, far side is caught. Pickup of about 4, maybe 5, they'll say, to John Blades.
And they're going to let this clock go a little bit here, as they probably will want to get in a more favorable formation to toss the ball downfield, as they're already looking to set up here, and they're bunching up here. So this might be another Scott Johnson run.
Might not be the right formation to go in for a hurry-up offense unless they can get some big old chunk plays from Scott Johnson, who makes a nice spin move, but is tackled short of the line to gain. 3rd and inches upcoming.
All right, now Sioux Falls has to decide which side Scott Johnson's going to run off of.
He's going to try and go straight through the center of that defense, and he goes and gets it. 41-yard line. Clock continues to run. About 40 seconds left to go. Might need to call a timeout to get him out of this formation.
Yeah, I would call it now.
Johnson again, and he gets 4.
There it is.
He's been their workhorse, but they can see that it's just not working. Sometimes the run, works really well in this 2-minute drill situation. However, not so this time, and the Fury take a timeout.
Yeah, and very quickly he gets to the 17th carry just in this half alone here, and they're probably going to be wanting to pass the football here, as they got 2 wide receivers out. It's still very questionable what they're going to do here, so Sioux Falls going to have to guess what they're going to do.
2 tight ends on the line toward the near side. Green to throw. It's a dump off over the middle. Caught for a pickup of maybe a yard, and they're going to hustle back to the line. 3rd and 5, under 25 seconds.
Look for it deep. Watch the bump coverage.
Same play, over the middle, caught with room to run, got
separation.
beyond the defender, and he's inside the 40 to the 38. 12 seconds to go, they're hustling back to the line. They still have 2 timeouts, electing not to use either of them.
This might be the last play here.
Green looks to throw, floats it near side of the 35,
Timeout.
down to the 34, and they call a timeout. They are just inside Matt Rage's range. And so, from what it was looking like, Brett, that looked awfully scary for that not even getting any points.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it scary. I would have called it maybe skeptical, maybe a half-hearted effort. But nonetheless, once they got into that 2 wide receiver formation with the 2 tight ends, they finally found some options to get that gain. And a nice catch and run from Mason Kirby to get that first down and into nice territory and to set up this 50-yarder for Matt Rage.
50, maybe a 51-yard attempt for Rage. This will be his longest of the season. He's 5 of 6. This to tie up the ball game. High snap is corralled. The kick is on its way. Doesn't have the leg. It does. It is up and good. And we end the first half the same way we started the ball game, all tied up. It's 10-10.
Yeah, and it looked like for a little bit it was going to be a tad short, but Matt Rage just had enough leg on there, maybe an extra yard or two as well, so he maybe could have kicked it from longer. But we're going to end this half at 10 apiece.
10-10, your score from Silver State Stadium here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Both clubs have come to play, and it's been really nip and tuck for both these teams here tonight.
Yeah, and it's really been just who's gonna get that advantage, as the defenses have really stepped up after drives 2 and 3 resulted in touchdowns for both teams. So a great job by the defenses, kind of shore things up, even though, as you see in the stats there, over 110 yards from Scott Johnson already, but we kind of expected it from him, where we were going to see a lot of carries from him. But nonetheless, yeah, it's going to be a nip and tuck battle throughout. Both locker rooms have to come in with the mentality that the game is 0-0. Game's afresh. You've got 22 minutes to separate yourselves from the other team. I think this is going to be very exciting second half.
Give you a couple close looks at the highlights. This being Scott Johnson scampered to the near side to make it all 7 apiece. As we take a closer look at how these teams have played, Sioux Falls have almost broadcasted that they've changed up how they're going to play. They've been known to be really run heavy in seasons past. Now they're entering a whole different dimension, adding a lot more of a passing attack to their repertoire. And that's seeing them, keep games close, especially the last couple of weeks and here tonight.
That's true, but it's also a passing attack that's still leaning towards the running back. As last week we saw 16 receptions from GP Wells, and if you take away a couple of the batted balls away and you turn that into catches, GP Wells could probably have another 6 or 7 receptions just in this half alone from those swing passes. So they're still relying on that running back. They're just relying on that running back a different way. But right now, that secondary for Las Vegas have kind of called them out and say, hey, we know that you want to do that swing pass, and it's resulted in only 3 receptions for 6 yards in that first half from GP Wells.
Welcome you back to Las Vegas, as it's still 10-10 as we enter in the second half, and maybe a couple of first half adjustments have been made, or we're going to find out what those were here in just a moment, as Las Vegas will kick it off to the visiting Sparrows to begin the half. Matt Rage, who had that 51-yarder ended, gets us going with the kickoff. G. Levy on the return. Tries to angle toward the near side. He is wrapped up eventually at the 32-yard line, and he goes no further. So Sioux Falls offense takes the field for the first time here in the second half.
Yeah, and I feel like they're probably going to do the same thing here. It's an even game. I don't think they're going to sway too far away from that the mixed passing attack and the swing passes. Might get a few extra carries from Wells, but we'll see how this transpires on this drive.
Tyree to throw here on first down. Caught near side by Al Dillapre Sr., pick up a 5.
Yeah, and we're starting to see Al Dillapre again here, as he was quiet, especially in that second quarter after getting 2 catches in the first. He gets his 3rd on here once you start counting 1, 2, 3. But nonetheless, a decent gain sets up a second and manageable.
Going to the goal line set, 3 tight ends, 2 backs in the eye. 4-3 look from Las Vegas. They're going to look to throw. Floater near side, GP Wells. He's going to break out of a tackle, pick up the first down, and he's going to shimmy shake another and get beyond midfield inside of the 49-yard line. Tremendous open field running from GP Wells.
Yeah, and Wells had a lot of opportunities to do that against Denver. But this time he struggled a little bit to finally get his first big play off the screen pass this time, and gets a nice first down for Sioux Falls, kind of getting a breath of life on that swing pass idea.
Three wide receivers and 2 backs in the backfield. Tyree to throw. Deep ball over the middle. It's off the hands, almost like it hit a wall, and it falls to the turf, incomplete.
Yeah, that one's a little bit tough seeing that as a receiver, but nonetheless, an incompletion there. Just kind of dust yourself off a little bit. You're at 2nd down and 10. Just kind of reset things in your mind.
Empty backfield. 4 wide receivers on the field here for the Sparrows. Tyree's gonna throw over the middle into coverage, but it is hauled in for the first down to the 34-yard line. As that was really nip and tuck. And you only do that if you spent 13 seasons in the league, and that's how he found Al Dillapre Sr.
Yeah, and you got to throw that 1,000 times to figure out what the right spot is for that throw. And it's a very nice catch from Al Dillapre as well, as he gets another nice reaching catch and starts to get a little bit more involved in this passing attack.
Tyree to throw on this first down. Over the middle, cut, and the slants are working to perfection so far here in the second half. Noe Terrazas gets into the act for the first time in the half.
Yeah, it's just trying to find that weak spot in the middle of the field, and they're finding it as Noe Terrazas gets involved again here and gets another first down for Sioux Falls as they continue trucking down the field close to red zone territory.
2 wide receivers off to the right. Coverage backs off from Las Vegas. And Sioux Falls throw again. GP Wells on the swing pass. Struggles out of a tackle. He spins around. Picks up the first down to the 10-yard line. First and goal, Sparrows.
Yeah, from our point of view here, it looked like Wells almost stepped out of bounds on that spin move. Oh, look how close that foot was as he was getting that spin move started. But nonetheless, he stays in bounds, and he gets a first and goal for the Sioux Falls offense that has been really cooking in this first drive, this second half.
And off, GP Wells through the middle with a nice gain of about 7. Gets him to the 3-yard line. Dragged down by his ankles by Dapson Bugna.
A very healthy dose of GP Wells on this drive as he gets a nice gut run and eliminates a little bit of space from Sioux Falls to the end zone. So the second down play might be crucial from them separating 3 from 7 points.
And off again, this time to the fullback Cornelius, and his third run will net positive 2 yards, and they're knocking on the door at the 1.
Yeah, it's very much knocking on the door as the Wells play was a little knock, and then the Charlemagne play was a bigger knock, and now it's a 3rd and goal at the 1. What's the decision, Sioux Falls?
Handoff, Wells middle, and he had a huge hole to run through, and he does the dirty bird as the Sparrows take the lead in this back and forth battle.
It's kind of fitting that a Sparrow player would do the dirty bird. But nonetheless, like you said, a huge gap amount of space. It's just all the big work from the offensive line just to give Wells that space, and it's just an easy walk-in for a touchdown, and Sioux Falls retakes the lead.
On to attempt the extra point is Josh Still Black. Been perfect today. Both hit on the 1 extra point he was called on to do earlier and his field goal. This one trying to make it 2 of 2 for extra points tonight. Snap spot, kick is up. Black's extra point is good, and it's 17-10. The Sparrows in front. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for links to apparel from Sector 6, the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League. And get SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. Sector 6 features replica team jerseys and completely customized jackets, flags, t-shirts, and more. Get the gear the fans wear with Sector 6, 97 Sports Promotions, and the SFL. Return gets underway from Doug Britton as he struggles out of 1 and is taken down by 2 Sparrows at the 29-yard line, and now Las Vegas have a chance to answer.
The last time Sioux Falls scored a touchdown, Las Vegas, in a quick fashion, responded in kind. So is this going to be a double dose of quick responses from Las Vegas? We're going to have to see from this drive.
Three wide receivers as Las Vegas go into a spread I formation. Two-step drop pass over the middle, caught and fumbled, and Sioux Falls jump on it. They take over after only one offensive play.
Now we're gonna have to see if he had full possession of the football, which it looks like he did. So that's just a great tackle right there to poke the football loose. And you see the Sioux Falls defenders. This Las Vegas challenge, I think that might have been a bad challenge. I think he still had full possession, but you saw the Sioux Falls defenders all around ready to grab the football after it went to the floor.
Kiki Anderson was the man who punched it free. As we take a closer look with you all and R62, it looks like
there had to have been 3 steps
field.
there.
And
there had to have been 3 steps.
It's pretty cut and dry from our angle. Let's see what R62 has to say.
After review, the play stands. The receiver did not have possession.
And indeed, it will be Sioux Falls football after one play. And the Sparrows looking like they have the momentum. If we had the old Rick meter, that'd probably be, maybe leaning Sioux Falls, I'd say. But I don't have the Rick meter here. I'm not an official representative of the Rick meter, so I can't say nothing.
I mean, even then, if we had the Rick meter, I don't know if we could translate it. It's only good to Colin and Rick there. So
first play of Sioux Falls' drive will be a handoff up the middle for GP Wells. He'll pick up about 2.
yeah, and it's again GP Wells there. He was very successful in the last drive, and they're going to trust on him again here. This time only 2 yards, but inching closer and closer as they start off in favorable territory. They might be okay with getting a field goal out of this too.
Offset single back behind Tyrese. He's back to pass, steps up, and he can't avoid the pressure. He is thrown to the turf by Sam Yeager.
Yeah, and it looked like Tyree got himself a little bit of extra time with that space, but Yeager proved us wrong, as a lot of time Yeager does, and he gets to Tyree right away for that quick sack.
After the sack, they're going to spread the field with 5 wide here on 3rd and 12. Tyree to throw over the middle. It is caught. They convert on the 3rd and long, and they connect with Al Dillapre Sr. to the 23.
Yeah, and Dillapre again, just that with that bump coverage, just knows how to separate himself from his defender, gets past it. Yeah, he had a linebacker against him as well, which for linebackers, they're not going to be the best nor the worst at coverage. They're kind of down in the middle. But when you've got a guy like Al Dillapre who's pretty good with that bump coverage, he's going to get a decent catch out of it.
Linebacker shift toward the near side. Be a handoff for Wells through the middle, and he's hit hard after picking up 4 yards to the 19.
Yeah, and again, it's just starting off the set of chains by seeing how much GP Wells can give you, and then kind of assessing it from there. 2nd and 6, very manageable. They could go back to him again, but they're going to go 4 receivers to the top here.
2nd and 2, GP Wells nowhere to be seen on the football field at the moment. Tyree looks to throw, and he's going to be taken down for the 2nd time in the drive.
And there's Yakov Zolotov. Instead of covering Al Dillapre, he decides, you know what? I want me a piece of Tyree. And he gets a piece and then some. He got a healthy meal out of that one. Great job by the secondary as well to stay on that all slants and negate any opportunity for a pass.
We're on 3rd and 12 earlier. This 3rd and 13 going to work, and falling down after catching it was Noe Terrazas, and he's going to be well short of the sticks, and out comes the field goal unit to try and make it a 10-point ball game.
And I don't think Sioux Falls minds all that much. They're well within field goal range. This is this is a relatively easy field goal, I would say, for the kicker here. That's 38 yards. Yeah, I would say that's well within his range if he can stay lined up on it.
Snap spot. Black's kick is up, and it is good from 38 yards, and it's a 10-point ball game. The visiting Sioux Falls Sparrows with the lead.
Yeah, and this has been a great job from Sioux Falls to respond after being relatively quiet throughout, I would say, all of the second quarter, to come back and kind of explode offensively with 10 points straight away, 3 coming off that forced fumble.
Black gets us going once again. Doug Britton on the return gets us going from about the 2-yard line. Tries to hang out to the far side. He breaks out of a tackle and then is eventually brought down at the 26-yard line. Las Vegas, so far here today, haven't really been able to get much going here in the second half. Well, this is only their second drive, but after the 51-yard field goal to end the first half, need to make something happen, you would think.
Yeah, and I think Las Vegas needs to look a little bit deeper here. Maybe not in this play as the secondary is sagging back for Sioux Falls, but they've got 4 receivers out.
See if they try and hit him with a long pass. Play action. Flag on the play. Deep ball over the middle. That is an incredible catch to about the 41-yard line. John Blades climbing the ladder. But let's get the call from R62. This one might be coming back.
That might be offensive holding, I think.
Holding, number 64, offense, 10-yard penalty.
And the big play goes for naught. The guard, Lincoln Hawk, gets tagged with the hold and negates a tremendous athletic play from John Blades.
Yeah, and Las Vegas did everything right there except for just that little misstep from Hawk as he gets a little bit of a hold on his defender to give Joseph Green just that split second of time that he needed to sling that ball to John Blades. But now here they are, 1st and 20.
7-step drop from Green. Looks over the middle. That's intercepted, and the Sparrows are keeping the pressure on Las Vegas as John Barnhart comes up with another interception.
Yeah, that's just one mistake cascading to another mistake as when you're in a 1st and 20 situation, you have to throw the football. You can't really get too much off a first down run. And this time it seems like Sioux Falls has plenty of momentum carrying their way, and they get another interception off of Joseph Green.
8-man in the box as the Sparrows have 2 wide receivers. They're going to start this possession inside the red zone as Wells is going to run out of a couple tackles and pick up 3 yards.
Yeah, and they're well within field goal range, so they could just run the football for 3 straight plays and just keep getting GP Wells more involved through this. But I would like to think that instead of getting another 3 points, they kind of want to punch it in for 6 and make this even more insurmountable for Las Vegas.
They'll flip the formation and go with an eye set behind Tyree. Tyree looks to throw floater for the fullback, Cornelius, and Cornelius is blasted at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's what Las Vegas needs, especially that defense. They're trying to hold Sioux Falls as much as possible. But when you start essentially in red zone territory, it's gonna be tough to prevent Sioux Falls from scoring. So you just got to keep holding them back as far as you can.
One set near side of the formation on 3rd down. Tyree fires near side, caught, turning upfield, and he spins into the end zone. Touchdown, Sioux Falls, Noe Terrazas.
Yeah, and that was big there. It almost looked like he stepped out of bounds a little bit there, but he manages to keep his feet in the field of play, and he gets himself enough space to run and get an extra spin move to the end zone. Great touchdown for Sioux Falls there.
And we'll be right back after a few words from our local sponsors. This is the SFL presented by 8 PM Music Live on Twitch.